My husband's betrayal broke me. I rose with grace and reclaimed my life. The woman I was. In 2025, from the outside, my life looked complete. A good marriage. A beautiful home in a quiet black neighborhood. A husband people admired. A woman people said was lucky. My name is Ariana Mitchell, and for 12 years, I believed that image too. I was the kind of wife who remembered everything. Birthdays, appointments, dreams my husband mentioned casually and forgot he ever said aloud. I built my days around Marcus. His career. His moods. His ambitions. Teamwork, he used to call it. I called it love. I worked as a marketing consultant, often from home, so I could be present. I cooked. I hosted. I smiled through exhaustion. I ignored the quiet voice that kept asking why I felt lonely beside the man I loved. People didn't know how many nights I lay awake beside him, staring at the ceiling, wondering when we stopped talking about us. But I told myself what many women tell themselves. Marriage has seasons. This is just a dry one. I didn't know the storm was already inside my house. Marcus changed slowly. Not in dramatic ways. In subtle ones. His phone never left his hand. He laughed more, but not with me. He worked later, dressed sharper, cared more about how he looked leaving the house than coming home. When I asked questions, he answered gently, but vaguely. You're overthinking, Ari. You worry too much. You don't trust me? Those words worked. They always had. Until one night, I reached for his phone on the kitchen counter, just to check the time, and saw a name light up the screen. Can't stop thinking about last night, Red Heart. My heart didn't break immediately. It went numb first. Confrontation is never as dramatic as movies make it seem. It's quiet, heavy, unavoidable. I waited until the next evening. Dinner sat untouched between us. Marcus, I said calmly, who is she? He froze. That silence told me everything. She's someone from work, he finally admitted. It didn't mean anything. The lies tumbled out after that, half-truths wrapped in excuses. It just happened. I was stressed. You've been distant too. That was the moment something inside me shattered, not because he cheated, but because he blamed me for his choice. I didn't scream. I cried quietly. And when I asked him one final question, do you love her? He didn't answer. That silence ended my marriage. Grief is not just about loss. It's about identity. Who was I without being Marcus's wife? The days that followed were ugly. I cried in the shower. I stared at walls. I questioned everything. My beauty, my worth, my intelligence. Friends rallied around me. Leave him. Take him back. Pray harder. But none of their advice could answer the ache in my chest. Marcus moved out within weeks, straight into another life. I stayed. In the house we built. With the memories. With the silence. And one morning, staring at my reflection, eyes swollen but still burning with life, I said out loud, he doesn't get to destroy me. That was the day my healing began. Grace is not weakness. Grace is power without cruelty. I didn't curse Marcus publicly. I didn't post heartbreak online. I didn't beg. I filed for divorce with dignity. I started therapy. I returned to the gym, not to shrink, but to feel strong. I poured myself back into my work. For the first time in years, I asked myself, what do I want? Not as a wife. Not as a partner. But as Ariana. I traveled alone. I laughed again. I rediscovered music I loved before marriage. And slowly, painfully, I stopped blaming myself for someone else's betrayal. By the end of the year, my life looked different. I launched my own consulting firm. I upgraded my wardrobe, not to impress anyone, but to celebrate myself. I slept peacefully. Marcus reached out once. I miss you, he said. I didn't hate him. But I didn't miss the woman I was with him. I wish you well, I replied. But I'm not going backward. That conversation closed a door I didn't realize was still open. Healing doesn't mean you stop believing in love. It means you believe in better love. I met Daniel unexpectedly. No drama, no chase, no confusion. He listened. He respected my boundaries. He didn't rush my story. One night, over coffee, he said something that stayed with me. Your strength isn't that you survived. It's that you didn't harden. And I knew then. Betrayal didn't break me. It refined me. After the divorce was finalized, the quiet became different. Not heavy. Not painful. Just honest. For the first time in years, Ariana wasn't waiting for a door to open or a phone to buzz. She woke up when she wanted, ate what she wanted, decorated her home the way she liked, warm earth tones, plants everywhere, art that spoke of freedom and black joy. Some nights were still hard. There were moments when she missed the idea of marriage, the shared jokes, the familiarity, the comfort of another body beside hers. But she no longer missed Marcus. That truth surprised her. One evening, her mother called. "Baby," she said gently, "you sound lighter." Ariana smiled. "I am, Mom." I didn't know how heavy I'd been carrying someone else's choices. Her mother paused. That's what growth sounds like. Betrayal is private, until it isn't. Word spread quietly at first, then loudly. Mutual friends chose sides. Some avoided her out of discomfort. Others suddenly treated her like a cautionary tale. "Marriage is hard," one woman said awkwardly at a brunch. "Men are just like that," another whispered. Ariana excused herself early that day and cried in her car, not because of Marcus, but because of how easily society forgave men and expected women to absorb pain with a smile. That night, she wrote a post, not naming names, not explaining details. Just one sentence. "I am not bitter. I am free." It went viral in her circle. Messages flooded in from women she barely knew. "I'm going through the same thing. Thank you for saying this. I thought I was weak for leaving." Ariana realized then, her healing wasn't just for her. Work became sacred. Her consulting firm grew faster than she imagined. Clients respected her clarity, her boundaries, her confidence. One client asked during a meeting, "What changed for you this year?" Ariana didn't hesitate. "I stopped negotiating my worth." By mid-year, she hired her first employee, a young black woman fresh out of college. "I want to learn from you," the girl said nervously. Ariana smiled. "And I want you to learn how not to disappear for anyone." She poured into mentorship the way she once poured into marriage. This time, the return was real. Marcus showed up again, not dramatically, not begging, just humbled. They met in a neutral cafe. "You look good," he said. "So do you," Ariana replied calmly, and meant it. "I lost her," he admitted. "And I lost a lot more after that." She listened without interrupting. "I know I hurt you," he continued. "I didn't know how much until you stopped trying to save me." Ariana nodded. "Some lessons don't come cheap." He looked at her with regret. "Do you ever think we could try again?" She felt no anger, no temptation, just clarity. "No," she said softly. "What we had taught me who I was not meant to be." That answer closed the final chapter of their story. Daniel remained patient. He never tried to compete with Ariana's past or rush her future. He showed up consistently, calls when he said he would, honesty without defensiveness, affection without control. One night, as they walked through a city park, he said, "I don't want to own you. I want to walk beside you." Ariana stopped and looked at him. "That's the first time a man has said that to me." He smiled. "Then I'm honored." She didn't fall into love. She stepped into it, eyes open, spine straight, heart whole. In 2025, Ariana stood on a stage at a women's empowerment conference. She wore a white suit, clean, powerful, intentional. "My husband's betrayal broke me," she told the audience. "But breaking isn't the opposite of strength. Sometimes it's the doorway. The room was silent. I rose with grace not because I'm special, but because I chose myself when it was hardest. Applause filled the hall. Tears filled her eyes. Not of pain. Of pride. That night, alone in her home, Ariana looked around and felt peace settle deeply into her bones. She had lost a marriage. But she gained her voice, her confidence, her future. She whispered to herself, smiling, I didn't just survive betrayal. I reclaimed my life. And for the first time in a long time, she believed it. Peace has a way of being tested when you least expect it. Ariana was in her office reviewing contracts when her phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. She almost ignored it. Almost. Hello. There was a pause. Then a woman's voice, soft, uncertain. Is this Ariana Mitchell? Yes. Who's calling? Another pause. A breath. My name is Leah Brooks. I was involved with Marcus. The room felt suddenly smaller. Not because Ariana was afraid, but because old memories stirred. I'm listening, Ariana said calmly. Leah's voice trembled. I didn't know about you at first. By the time I did, I was already in too deep. I just wanted you to know, I'm sorry. Ariana closed her eyes. This was the moment she once imagined with rage. But all she felt was stillness. Thank you for telling me, Ariana replied. I hope you heal too. When the call ended, Ariana sat quietly, amazed, not at Leah, but at herself. The wound no longer bled. That night, Daniel noticed something was off. You're quiet, he said gently. She told him everything, without emotion, without fear. I don't feel broken anymore, Ariana admitted. I feel finished with that chapter. Daniel reached for her hand. That's what healing looks like. Ariana smiled. For once, she didn't need reassurance. She already trusted herself. Something shifted after that. Women began reaching out, privately at first, then publicly. Emails, messages, comments. How did you leave without losing yourself? How did you forgive without going back? How did you rebuild? Ariana realized her story had become a mirror. She started hosting small healing circles on Saturdays. No preaching. No perfection. Just truth. One woman cried, I thought staying made me strong. Ariana answered gently, strength isn't staying or leaving. It's choosing what keeps you whole. The room exhaled together. Marcus saw her success online. The awards. The speaking engagements. The smiles that were real. It unsettled him. He sent a long message one night, apologies layered with regret, nostalgia, and longing. Ariana read it once. Then she deleted it. Not out of anger. Out of self-respect. She had learned something crucial. Closure doesn't require a conversation. Months later, Daniel invited Ariana to meet his family. Old Ariana would have panicked. New Ariana asked questions, set boundaries, and showed up as herself. His mother hugged her tightly. You carry peace, she said. That's rare. Ariana smiled. I worked hard for it. That night, Daniel whispered, I see you choosing me, not because you need me, but because you want me. She nodded. That makes all the difference. On her birthday, Ariana took a solo trip to the ocean. She stood barefoot in the sand, letting the waves kiss her feet. She thought of the woman she used to be, quiet, accommodating, afraid of losing love. And she honored her. Thank you for surviving, she whispered. The wind carried her words away. Ariana smiled, strong and whole, because the greatest love she reclaimed was her own. The email arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Ariana almost missed it between invoices and calendar alerts. Subject: Publishing opportunity. Your story matters. She opened it slowly. A major black-owned publishing house had been following her speaking engagements and online essays. They wanted her to write a book, her story, in her own voice. Not a pity memoir. A power narrative. She leaned back in her chair, heart pounding. 4 years, she had carried pain privately. Now the world was asking her to turn it into purpose. She whispered, "I'm ready." Writing the book was harder than Ariana expected. Some nights she cried at her laptop. Other nights she laughed at the woman she used to be. She wrote about silence, about gaslighting, about choosing dignity when revenge felt easier. Daniel never pushed. He simply brought tea, kissed her forehead, and said, "Tell the truth. The rest will follow." When she finished the final chapter, she closed her laptop and exhaled. That woman on page 1 no longer lived inside her. 2 weeks before the book announcement, Marcus called again. This time, his voice sounded strained. "I heard you're writing a book." "I am." "Do you have to tell everything?" Ariana paused. "I'm telling my truth," she said calmly. "Not to hurt you. To free myself." He swallowed. "People will judge me." "They already do," she replied gently. "And they also forgive. Growth is still possible, just not with me." The line went quiet. Ariana ended the call without guilt. At the book launch, Ariana stood in a room filled with black women of all ages. Mothers, daughters, wives, survivors. Daniel stood in the back, proud, steady, never needing the spotlight. When she read the final line of the book, "Betrayal did not end me. It introduced me to myself," the room rose in applause. Later that night, Daniel met her outside under the city lights. "I've watched you bloom," he said, "and I don't want to walk beside you anymore." She frowned playfully. "What does that mean?" He dropped to one knee. "I want to build with you, if you'll have me." Tears filled her eyes. "Yes," she whispered. Ariana didn't rush into planning. She planned intentionally. The wedding was small, elegant, grounded. No performance. No pressure. Just love rooted in respect. Before walking down the aisle, she looked at her reflection and smiled. Not because she was chosen, but because she had chosen wisely. One quiet evening, Ariana wrote a letter to Marcus. She didn't mail it. She didn't need to. It read, "You were a lesson, not a life sentence. I release you, not because you deserve it, but because I do." She folded it, placed it in a journal, and closed that door forever. Years later, Ariana stood before a room of young black girls. "You don't have to stay where you are tolerated," she told them. "Love should never cost you your voice." She saw herself in their eyes, hopeful, cautious, powerful. Her story had become bigger than her pain. Ariana's life didn't become perfect. It became honest. And that made all the difference. She was not broken. She was rebuilt by grace, truth, and courage. And the woman who once begged for love now defined it.